Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call our meeting of Hewlett Housing, Land Use, Environment, and Transportation Committee meeting to order. Before we, where's my announcements? I usually ask that everyone turn off their cell phones. With that, Peggy, would you mind please calling the roll?
Good morning, Vice Chairperson Arenas.
Here.
Chairperson Abe-Koga.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. My name is Margaret Abe-Koga. I'm the chairperson of this committee, and this is where I ask you to mute all electronic devices. I'm joined here with by my vice chairperson, Supervisor Sylvia Arenas. We will go on to item 2, which is public comment. This item is reserved for persons who wish to address the committee on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the committee that is not on this agenda. The law does not permit committee action or extended discussion on any item not on the agenda except under special circumstances. Members of the public who wish to address the committee on a non-agendized item should request to speak at this time by giving a request to speak form to the deputy clerk if you are in chambers, or by using the raise hand icon if attending virtually. Peggy, are there any speakers?
We have no speakers this morning.
All right, thank you. I will close that item, move on to item 3, and this is to approve the consent calendar and any changes to the committee agenda. Supervisor Arenas, do you have any questions or changes that you'd like to make or comments?
I would like to make a motion to move items 6, 7, and 9, but I would like to make some comments, if that works.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, so 6,
7, and 9.
to move them or?
To move them to consent?
Okay, great, thank you.
So my motion is to move items 6, 7, and 9 to consent. I just would like to make some quick comments. On 6 is the update on wildfire detection sensors and the wildland urban interface. And I know President Lee isn't here, but I want to thank him from wherever he's at for his hard work on this referral, and then our administration and staff for the deployment of these sensors, and really demonstrate our commitment in investing and in fire protection, especially in South County, who will be getting 9 sensors throughout District 1. I look forward to seeing the success of these and, of course, the diminution of fires. For item 7, this is a report back on housing element status, structural challenges, and legislative opportunities. And so I wanted to thank everyone who's been involved in this item and moving forward with some ideas, especially our planning department, our IGR team, and county executive's office. Since this was last heard in September, I really appreciate the way that this has been elevated, and you've all contributed to making sure that we think about solutions, especially legislative solutions. So I'm really grateful for that. This is very important to all of us, and I know that for me, since I sit on ABAG, and I have one of the districts that continue to be appealing for a lot of development. This is important to not only myself, but to my residents. And so I look forward to working together with ABAG, with all of you in the upcoming months. And that is it for me on those items.
Great, thank you. I will second the motion, and also if I could add some comments to the items as well. So with item 6 regarding the wildfire detection sensor program, I want to also thank staff for bringing this back and moving it forward. I'm really excited to see this project happening. I really believe this technology is important to ensuring that we are able to provide early alerts to our fire services, since I know that early response and with response, every second counts. And I'm also happy to see the 3 wind sensors are being included. Wind patterns are so critical in making decisions, and fire is so fickle, as I've learned having been in a number of live burns, and wind really makes a big difference and is a major factor in how to respond to the fires. So I very much appreciate the wind sensors as part of this program. And I'll look forward to continuing to see the progress. And I believe we have regular report outs to this committee on this item, so I'll look forward to the next report. Item 7, yes, with the housing element. Thank you to IGR for your work on this issue. I know that we continue to have to address many items that come up as a result of the new housing element and many of the new requirements that have been included. I know it's a big lift for our county to see the increased RENA number that's increased by over 1,000%. And then to further complicate the matter, the issue of annexations and to the cities and how to get credit for that. And so I was actually thinking, and I was thinking about ABAG as well as what just the housing, is it HCD, Housing Community Development Department, and I'm assuming we've just talked it over with them, but would be interested in also if there's anything like I can contribute to that, since I'm on the MTC side as well, to see if it's I guess I'm looking at this as like more of a calculation or or can it be a calculation or for a paper exercise of how you count the units rather than having to change the whole process of permits and when permits are given by the cities versus when the annexation happens. So I'll probably follow up with staff offline on that to see if there's anything or any more conversation we can have with HCD. And then was it 9? Yes, I know we continue to talk about the challenges. I think there's been a lot of progress made by the county in regards to providing supportive housing and supportive housing services. But the reality of our point in time count was a bit sobering. And especially as we get into the winter months, I think about the unhoused and the need for us to continue to address the concerns and the challenges of trying to provide more sheltering for our residents. So with that, are there any public comments on these items or on the consent calendar?
We have no speakers.
Great. I'll close that, and could we get a roll call vote, please?
Vice Chairperson Arenas.
Actually, Chair, through the chair, if I could also make another recommendations to consider items 10, which is the verbal report on agricultural worker housing, and item 11, which is the agricultural worker housing needs survey update, be heard together.
Okay, yes, that sounds great.
Perfect.
Great. So we will add that to as well.
And for the vote, Vice Chairperson Arenas, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Chairperson Abe-Koga.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. We will move on to item 4. Get my place here. And this is the regular agenda, item 4, to consider recommendations relating to the status of fiscal year 2025-26 annual work plans for commissions supported by the Office of the Clerk of the Board of Supervisors. And before our commissioners begin their work plan updates, I just want to say thank you to all of our commissioners who put in their valuable time into serving on our commissions, and thank you for those of you who are here today on behalf of your commissions to report out on the great work you're doing. I did want to note that we have quite a few commissions represented today and asking for a report out. So due to that and our schedule, I would like to ask that the reports be limited to 2 minutes, and we will be using the timer. So I would appreciate your cooperation in that regard. So I will, let me just go through the order of presentations and presenters. We have first the Airports and Land Use Commission, Walter Windus, the chairperson. 2, Airports Commission, Dan Connolly, chairperson. 3, Animal Advisory Commission, Janice Frazier, the vice chairperson, who is remote. The Historical Heritage Commission, Bill Hare, chairperson. Parks and Recreation Commission, Howard Miller, chairperson. Planning Commission, Mark Rouser, chairperson. And Roads Commission, Karen Goss, the vice chairperson. So after each report, I will ask if there are any committee questions. And then we will start. So welcome, Mr. Windus. Thank you for being here, and please begin when
Thank
you're
you
ready.
very much. I'm Walter Windus, Chair of the Airport Land Use Commission. Oh, okay. I'm Walter Windus, Chair of the Airport Land Use Commission. Airport Land Use Commission is a state-mandated county commission created by Public Utilities Code 21670 to 216795. The Airport Land Use Commission was created to protect the public health, safety, and welfare by the adoption of land use measures minimizing the public exposure to excessive noise, safety hazards within the areas around public use airports. The commission is mandated to prepare and adopt an airport land use plan for each public use airport in the county. The commission has no jurisdiction over operation of any airport within the county. The planning boundaries, also known as the airport influence area, shall be established by the commission after hearing and consultation with the involved agencies. And PUC 21676 paragraph B says, prior to the amendment of a general plan or specific plans or the adoption of or approval of a zoning ordinance or building regulation within the airport influence area, the local agency shall first refer the proposed action to the commission for determination of consistency with the associated airport land use plan. The local agency may overrule the commission's determination by a 2/3 vote after documenting findings of fact. During the 2025 so far, we've evaluated 3 general plan amendments, including 3 zoning amendments associated with the general plan, 4 separate zoning amendments, 1 building code amendment last night, and the work plan for the year. Got it all in.
Great. Yes, we're great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the work you do. I remember from my city council days, important input that we call it ALUC would provide. And so thank you for the work. Do you have any questions, Vice Chair?
No, thank you so much, and thank you for your service.
Great. Thank you. We have now the Airports Commission, Mr. Connolly.
Good morning. Nice to see you both again. Well, I want to zip through this as quickly as possible on our work plan. Item number 1 dealt with VTA ground leases. That's going to VTA in January 26th. So hopefully we'll have a report on that afterwards. Securing long-term leases was item number 2, and we're, of course, encouraging the county to look at longer-term leases there. We haven't had any movement forward, but I'm optimistic that will move forward. Some of the other things that we've done this year is 2 eVTOL providers. We met with both Archer and Joby. Archer secured the 2028 Olympics, and both are going to be operating in the Bay Area in about 18 months, but none of our airports have any infrastructure for that at this point when it comes to power. We had both Gavilan College and Civil Air Patrol make presentations at our October meeting. Gavilan has a mechanics aviation program operating at E16, and they provided information about their students and the great job that they're doing in meeting the needs of the industry. Civil Air Patrol provides search and rescue at Reed Hillview and has a cadet program as well with 80 high school students focused on leadership and aviation. And Civil Air Patrol is the auxiliary U.S. Air Force. Next week's meeting, San Jose State's aviation program will provide a presentation as well as the Young Eagles program. And that program with Young Eagles provides free flights to youth around San Jose at Reed Hillview about 9 times a year. Item number 8, I'm going to hold off because that's your item number 5, the G100GL issue. But in August, Supervisor Reynes, you asked us to look at E16 and maintenance issues. Vice Chair Hobbs and I did go down there, toured it twice. The front gate was inoperable. It's now been repaired. The PAPI lights on the field are a real problem. At night, they go out, and you've got a 4% slope instead of a 3% slope, and that's really helpful. And I apologize, I'm just trying to get through this, but we did also look at the other maintenance issues so Supervisor Arenas asked about, and the AWAS, which is reporting rain when it's not raining, we found had hornets that are swarming around it. So we put up a trap to catch those hornets and mitigate that. So there are other maintenance issues, but overall the airport looks pretty good. Our restroom's been out of service for a year, and we'd like to see that fixed. Finally, both we participated in an airport day and the food truck fly-in and the retirement of Director Eric Peterson. My apologies for extending it above the 2 minutes.
Great, thank you. Appreciate all the work you do. Do you have any questions, Vice Chair?
Actually, I wanted to thank you for the follow-up. I'm sorry about the hornet's nest and the bathroom. And so I'm wondering if you can send me an email with that update. And
we
that way-
have 3 restrooms there. One has been out of service for about a year, according to staff. It's a major plumbing issue that will require digging up the plumbing line. There are 3 functional restrooms right now there, but that does need to be addressed.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. Would you be open to sending this via email?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Be
I'd love
happy to do that.
to see if there's any follow-up.
Thank you very much.
And if I may, Supervisor, I just wanted to introduce our acting airports director, Scott Riddle. And I will make sure that these operational issues are prioritized with our acting director.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for that follow-up. I appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to thank you for your work with the EV airplanes, eVTOLs.
EVTOL, yes, ma'am.
TOLs, yes, I'm very much interested in that technology, so I'll probably just follow up with
Probably within the next 5 years, you're going to see it look like more George Jetson days where we've got a lot of
Yes.
little things in the sky.
Yes, so, yeah, it's something that I think you're already looking at, considering how we accommodate these new technologies. So thank you for all of your great work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. We will go on to item, the third commission, the Animal Advisory Commission. Janice Frazier, I believe we have her remotely.
Commissioner Frazier is in the Zoom room. She appears to be talking, but we are not hearing her. If you could check to see if your mic is muted. We'll go on. Can you,
Should we?
would it be possible to go on to the next?
Oh, there
what-
she is.
There
I
she
think.
goes.
Are you okay now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Welcome,
So,
thank you.
I appreciate your hearing us. We have been working hard on all of our goals and objectives of our work plan. I want to point out first that we are short people, so if there's anyone who can request to have participants join from your divisions or your supervisor areas, it'd be very helpful. We are down 2 people. A third is a vet that has to be nominated by the Santa Clara County Vet Association. I have asked Dr. Haima, who was ours, to look into that. She had, but I'm asking her to do it again. We are on one evaluating the volunteer program and have been doing that for a while. In addition, we are assisting in helping them to solicit for volunteers at outside events where they have not participated always in the past, and that is getting us some new volunteers as well. On item 2, we are trying very hard to determine what we really need as reports, and we'll be requesting a change in how things are being reported to us most likely shortly to staff. We basically have identified some things that the public might need but will be difficult for the shelter to actually implement, so we're going to address if there's some way that could be done in a partitioned way. And on 3, again, we are looking at how we can be helping market them on what they can and can't provide. I'm involved with a variety of outside organizations that I'm hoping will be able to publish some stuff in a mode they're not currently doing. They do a very good job on their communication when it comes to social media, but there's other potential avenues I'd like to see us that maybe we can pursue. I'm going to be working closely with them on that. And on the ordinance bylaws, we currently have not done anything on that yet because we are pretty short-staffed on our commission, but we are planning to undertake that shortly. That's my whirlwind.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions, Vice Chair?
No, no, thank you for your service, and if I happen to be the one that has a slot available, I will make sure we follow up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we'll take a look as well, and just want to thank you for all your great work, and I appreciate the many creative ways that you are implementing to find volunteers. So thank you again for all that you do. We will move on to the Historical Heritage Commission. Mr. Hare, welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, we went from VTOLs. I'm going to take you back to horses and carriages. All right, our fiscal year work plan includes our usual ongoing objectives of evaluating applications for the Historical Heritage Grant Program by reviewing applicant presentations on project proposals, conducting site visits, and providing funding recommendations for the Board of Supervisors. Identifying eligible properties for the Heritage Resource Inventory and/or landmarks, reviewing and processing Mills Act applications, coordinating with county parks and the Parks and Recreation Commission to preserve historic structures within the county parklands, and so on and so forth in a similar way. This fiscal period, we are also reviewing existing Stanford General Use Permit DPR forms to identify any properties that would be eligible for the HRI and/or landmark status, as well as looking for better ways to make the HHGP grants more visible to the public. In our meetings, we're also inviting speakers with expertise in various fields of presentation or preservation, architecture, cultural awareness, and other relevant subjects to further our own knowledge. Recent progress includes receiving updates and progress reports on previous HHGP-funded projects, presenting certificates of recognition to individuals and organizations to contribute to Santa Clara County's historical preservation. Losing my breath here. We've done recently a Mills Act contract approval on the Clifford Allen House at Stanford University, as well as appointing Commissioner Lila Jamelis to the Historical Heritage Commission as a representative for the Parks and Recreation Park Naming Committee. 2, 1.
Wow,
I made it.
did it. Great
Do you have
job.
any questions?
Any questions, Vice Chair?
No questions, but just very impressed. You made the whole thing. Thank you so much.
Yes, almost in one breath.
It's a lot of work.
Thank you. And we'll move on then to the Parks and Recreation Commission. And we have the Honorable Mr. Miller, former Mayor of Saratoga.
A lot
Welcome.
of former jobs. Thank you guys for having me. I'm Howard Miller, so Parks and Rec Commission. Our park system is 55,000 acres, 350 miles of trails, 28 parks. Thank you, Margaret, for leading hikes within our parks. The purview of our commission is to provide feedback and oversight for the park system, which includes our volunteer and interpretive programs, natural resources management, of which preventative prescribed burns is a big part this time of year, except for the rain. Thank you for the rain. Related to you, we also deal with the master plans and our CIP programs. Those would be the items that are forwarded to you. This year, we've done Metcalf Park. We have completed our work on the Fortini site plan. That will be coming to you. And the Joseph D. Grant Park stuff we're going to start looking at our next meeting will eventually find its way to you guys. It's an annual work plan. Staff is dogmatic about the work plan, so we are precisely and exactly following that work plan. Then I have one very time-critical item for you, just in case you've forgotten. This is the 27th annual Fantasy of Lights program at Vasona Park. It's a drive-through program. It sells out unbelievably early, December 9th through the 30th, not on Christmas Day, but all other days. Please go get your tickets now. You can get them on the county parks website.
Great. Thank
Questions?
you. Any questions, Vice Chair?
No questions, but once again, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for coming out and reporting to us. This is really, on a personal level, I think it's wonderful connection.
It's a committed group. Each
Yes.
person, I'm the young guy with like only 25 years of park experience, very committed and seasoned group who are passionate about being outdoors and making available to the public.
Well, you have the spunk.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Just have been really impressed by our park system, and appreciate staff and Mr. Todd. And we've been doing these hikes. We did 5 of these community hikes in our parks and open spaces in District 5, and just really, really grateful for the work that the commission does, that so many do to keep our parks beautiful and accessible. So thank you to the commission for all of the input that you provide too. So thank you, Mr. Miller. Good to see you. We'll go on to the Planning Commission, Mr. Rouser.
Thank you, Mark Rouser, Planning Commission. We had 4 appeals for the SB 330 for completeness, and we had a draft EIR for the rural zoning amendments that was presented to us. Perhaps you heard of it, and that's it.
Wow, that's it.
The balance of my
Not
time.
much going on.
With the balance of my time, I'd like to say thank you to the planning department. Once the zoning draft regs came out, or changes, they did a big effort in community outreach, and I think it has opened up a lot of exposure to South County, and I appreciate certainly Supervisor Arenas' involvement, and all the supervisors, I think, are making an effort to come out and see what we have to offer in the South County. So I'm seeing a lot of good that's coming out of this. So I just want to say thank you on that. The only other thing is, I don't know, it's more the Board of Supervisors, but we have, out of our 7 members, 5 of the terms all end on 6/30/2026. So some of them may get reappointed, but it's kind of it could be a train wreck, possibly. But anyway, so that's my report.
Thank you. Vice Chair, do you have any questions?
Thank you. No, I don't have any questions because we have been involved, and I actually wanted to thank you for your role in supporting our community out in the south part of the county. They needed your support, and you lend your voice to what is happening, and also to give hope that things are going to improve, that we are going to be responsive as are their local government representatives, and of course, the administration, the staff that works here really appreciates that. Thank you so much. And thank you for such a short report.
I do my best. Thank you.
Yeah, the report may be short, but I know the work has been extensive, especially
Right,
with
yeah.
SB
Very
330 and the ag zoning. So thank you. And thank you for the heads up on the ending terms. It's good for us to have that, and we'll look ahead and start planning for reappointments and so forth. So thank you. We will go on to the Roads Commission. Ms. Goss, welcome.
My name is Karen Gauss. I'm the Vice Chair of the County Roads Commission. I just wanted to point out that in 2022 and 2023, every County Roads Commission meeting was canceled due to lack of quorum. And since 2024, we've had quorum at every meeting despite our 2 vacancies and 2 members who wish to retire. But as a result, we were able to accomplish some key goals, but a friendly reminder for supervisors to take action to improve this ongoing vacancy problem in different committees. We have had applications submitted, but no new members have been appointed. Our shining star accomplishment this year was voting to recommend the County Active Transportation Plan, which was adopted by the Board of Supervisors in June. The first project that will come out of this plan is the Foothill Expressway feasibility study, and Capitol and Almaden Expressways will get feasibility studies next. This past year, our agendas have included Central Expressway repaving plans from just west of Dela Cruz Boulevard to Bowers Avenue, ITS, which is Infrastructure Technology Systems, which is the signals and the cameras on the expressways, bridge repair needs and the schedule, Crossroads, which is the outdated computer system that tracks crash data, Mainstar, which is the county's app and computer system that works like San Jose 311 or Ask MV, where citizens can report issues on the roadway and where staff track trends and workload. Many other things. I need to wrap up here. In the coming year, our work plan moving forward has updates to 13 specific bridge replacement, repair, and maintenance projects, an update to the county's local road safety plan, and updates to the expressway plans like Central Expressway and the Watsonville-Uvis interchange. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Any questions, Vice Chair? to the Roads
No,
Commission?
but thank you so much for the support. And I'd love to see how we can get the commission involved in the open streets events that we have in the south part of the county. We've had 2 already in San Martin and in Morgan Hill. We have 1 remaining in Gilroy, and I apologize for missing that opportunity to involve the commission, but love to get you involved. Thank you.
All right, I believe that concludes. Oh, I'm sorry, do we have one more? Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't, not on my list, apologies. Welcome. And this is the Sustainability Commission.
Good morning. My name is Bruce Payton. I'm the chair for the Sustainability Commission. Just echoing something you've just heard from the last commission, probably several others, we're struggling with a lack of commissioners. We actually have 6 commissioners out of 11 spots. That means that we've had 1 delay and 1 canceled meeting. We are making progress. There are 4 big pieces to our work, and we've had work on 3 of the 4 and have plans for the 4th. Part of our work is just reviewing the ongoing implementation of the Sustainability Master Plan, and we've received reports on that, and we've been doing it because we're a new commission. We've been doing a systematic review of those, and either at the next meeting or the following one, we'll be diving into the last part of that plan, which focuses heavily on equity, which is the 4th part of our work plan, and we'll be diving into that in 2 different ways. One is the office that we work with has reorganized a bit so that they've now got the food program, so we're going to be getting an update on that, and then a deeper dive into the equity activities. So overall, we're doing well with the exception that it's hard to get a quorum when you have to have everybody there to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, Vice Chair?
Yes, I would love to hear this next part that you're going to dive into, the equity piece, and see um, what you come up with, if there's any new recommendations, any, new perspectives. I would love to hear that in your following report if you're open to it. Otherwise, I love that you've told us that you've already gone through 3 of the 4. And so.
Partway through the 4, yes.
Partly?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, partly is more than barely starting. So, yes, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. I think it's great if you give us any perspectives, any feedback that you get through the meetings. It would be great to hear from the commissioners what that is. It gives me an opportunity to know that the commissioners accept, or would like to make additional recommendations. You are all taking time out of your life because you're experts in some capacity in this area. So we'd love to hear your advice.
Great, thank you.
Great, thank you. Did you, yes.
With respect to the question of quorum, the acting director of the department, Casey Hill, and I are reviewing possible changes to the bylaws and, of course, working with the chair to address that issue. Part of it has to do with the youth membership, and we'll figure out a proposal to recommend to the board. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Yes, thank you. I'm hearing a bit of a theme with some of the challenges with the commissions and their reaching quorum and so forth. So I'll definitely have my staff and I will look into that a little further too, to try to see what we can do to help to get you all fully appointed.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. So thank you for your work. And with that, I believe we've gone through all of the commissions, and
We have,
do
it's
we
just
have
an opportunity
any
for public comment.
comment? Yes.
And giving the Zoom room a moment. We have no speakers on the item.
Okay, well, thank you again to all of the commissions and your great work, and we'll look forward to continuing to hear updates. So again, thank you from us on the committee. We will now move on to item 5, which is to receive a report relating to the Airports Commission advisory recommendation regarding G100 unleaded fuel. And for this item, I wanted to recognize the Airport Commission's due diligence in preparing the detailed report and letter that was provided to myself and Vice Chair Arenas to consider prior to this meeting. I've read it through it and given all the information already shared in the report and our packed agenda today. I was wondering if Supervisor Arenas, if you would mind if we go straight to discussion and public comment on this item?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Do you have any comments or questions for the commission?
No, not at the moment, actually.
Great. I would just say that, again, I want to thank the commission for the extensive report, and thank you, Chair Connolly, for all of your work and leadership. I know this has taken quite a bit of effort to put together, so I want to definitely acknowledge the work of you and your fellow commissioners. Did you have some comments that you'd like to make?
So first, I wanted to thank you for your staff that reached out and actually had a meeting with Vice Chair Hobbs and myself over our recommendation. And she didn't have a lot of information on it because she said that you had taken the book home to review it. And so I really want to thank you for taking a look at that. This is not an issue about getting rid of unleaded fuel. I want to make that very clear. It's an issue regarding this type of fuel and the challenges that are being faced with aircraft damage. Just yesterday, and I forwarded it to you late in the day yesterday, but Contra Costa County had put out an item, and I'd like to just quickly read it to you because it does have to do with the GAMI G100 fuel as well. It says there's a notable difference between the 3 current developers and producers of unleaded fuel. And two of those, Swift and Lydonell, are going through industry consensus production specifications. That means they're going through peer review testing through ASTM. GAMI said it will not subject its fuel, the G100 UL, to ASTM process. From a risk liability perspective, and this is on their county's website, there are industry concerns related to airframe and engine warranties, as well as those involved in fuel supply chain, given GAMI's lack of ASTM testing. And so, you know, we put together a package for you. I do want to say, just for transparency, it was not a unanimous vote on the commission. Some of the other commissioners were concerned that we were trying to push back towards leaded fuel. We're not. It's that there's, in our opinion, an issue with this fuel, and you have one claim for $600,000. I'm sure you saw it in the information where the insurance company has specifically said that it was related to the GAMI fuel. So our recommendation is to temporarily halt the sale of that fuel until we can get a better handle on the damage it's really causing to airplanes. And Supervisor Reyes, since I'm here and I'm in a similar position as other commissions, I've only served 2 years on this commission. I'm a rotating seat. My term is expired, even though I'm chair of the commission, and it's with your office, I'd certainly appreciate your consideration, so I'll take the liberty of just throwing that your way. Any questions that you may have on the report that we've provided to you?
Yes, Vice Chair.
Great. No, thank you so much for the report. I really appreciate it. The question is actually going to go to Elizabeth Bianca, and I'm wondering about what the FAA's approval of the fuel, the G100 UL. What's the approval? What's the FAA's knowledge of the fuel and the reports alleging the damage to the aircraft use, and if there's any current approval of it, of the fuel?
Certainly. Elizabeth Bianca, Assistant County Counsel. The FAA is the approving body of fuel that is used in aircraft at Reed Hillview and San Martin. The FAA has approved the use of G100 unleaded fuel. The county has notified the FAA of the claims that we have been in receipt of from Reed Hillview Airport, and we continue to monitor the FAA's approval of the fuel, but there have been no changes to their prior approval.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure that our commissioners also appreciate knowing that.
And I just want to point out that the FAA is one step in the approval process. You've got the 4 major engine manufacturers of airplanes that are not approving it, and you've got the engine manufacturers. The 2 of them are saying that it can void the warranty in their engines. So it's not completely accepted, but the FAA did give them a type certificate. So just want to make that clear. And really our goal here is to limit the liability of the county. If we're having fuel issues on the ground where planes can't fly, I would submit to you that what happens on the day that there's an in-air incident regarding this fuel and it causes an emergency situation. So I'm just trying to be cautious. And I would say to you and Supervisor Arenas, you and I served almost similar terms when I was on San Jose Airport Commission. We had come with a recommendation to City Council about not approving a contract for billboards and said that it was going to get the city into trouble. Unanimously, the City Council overruled us, and the courts came back and found the same thing that we had warned the city about. So I just don't want to see the county get into trouble, and I don't want to see potential problems for aircraft owners. Right. So that's why we're making this recommendation to suspend the fuel.
I understand that, and thank you. Although, you know, billboards are a little different than the fuel, but they could add fuel to the fire, right?
Right.
So, I'm sorry, I couldn't. My daughter wouldn't let me live through that one if I didn't take that pun. I appreciate your service and I appreciate the guidance and your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
One moment, we had a hand that has since been lowered, so we have no speakers.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again. Definitely appreciate the report and the work of the Airport Commission. We will now move on to, I think we put 6 and 7 on the consent, so we move on to item 8, which is to receive a report from the Office of the County Executive relating to the Agricultural Economic Development Work Plan. And that's, Ms. Consuelo, welcome.
Good morning, Consuelo Hernandez, Deputy County Executive. As part of your agenda packet, we included a draft of the calendar year 2025 work plan. We continue to refer to it as a draft because in our initial recommendation to the Board of Supervisors, we noted that we wanted to engage the community on the focus areas, and we haven't been able to do that this year, so it is in draft form, but we have been moving forward. We also have a presentation. Happy to run through that presentation if you're interested, or I can just give you a summary report. This is the first time this item has come to Hewlett since Supervisor Arenas' referral in 2024. Sounds like the presentation would be okay?
Would you like to see the
I think it's up to the chair.
Sure, yes, let's go. If you can do it.
Hit us with it.
Yes.
And just bear with me while the slides come through. Wonderful. As a background, Supervisor Arenas made the original referral, particularly around understanding the role of the Office of Economic Development that's focused on agricultural tourism. The administration reported back in February 4th of 2025, essentially recasting our current Asset and Economic Development division within the County Exec's office and rebranding it as an Office of Asset and Economic Development. As I mentioned, the work plan advances 2 of the focus areas contained in the 2018 Santa Clara Valley Agricultural Plan. First, for a little grounding, making sure that we're all referring to the same terminology in terms of what is considered agricultural tourism. This is taken from the state of California and working closely with the UC Cooperative, whom we have a very strong partnership with. And if you see here, there are different elements of that work. And I'll get into this a little bit more in how this is connected to our ag plan and the draft work plan in your packet. Also wanted to make sure that the board is aware of the current asset and economic development functions. You know, when you think about economic development, what we do in the county is very different than what cities think about from an economic development perspective. Our focus is primarily in the unincorporated parts of the county. We don't want to create a competition with local cities whose function is primarily to bring in new business, look at their competitive advantage as a city and what they have to offer. For us, that competitive advantage is the fact that we have our open space and agriculture, and how do we then leverage that to provide an economic development lens. So you'll see here, we liaison with all of the 15 cities. We have a handful of properties that are vacant that we manage, that we either lease out or that we are holding for redevelopment. We also, during the pandemic, provided small business assistance, particularly for those that were impacted because of the pandemic. It's a very small program, but that continues to move forward. We also focus and serve as a liaison for other departments. So for instance, when the Office of Supportive Housing was first starting, they didn't have a real estate arm. They didn't really have a lot of development. It was a team of 5 when we started to implement the housing bond. And so we were able to leverage the asset and economic development expertise coupled with facility and fleets real estate team to acquire properties. And so that function of liaison and consulting services continues to today. So the two focus areas that were in the approved ag plan that made the most sense to align with Supervisor Arenas' referral was a focus on an economic development strategy, as I mentioned, but there was also an aspect of branding. So the image on the left describes what those 4 core areas are in the plan. Eventually, there should be a full implementation of the agricultural plan, but given the limitation of staff, there's also a lot of work that is happening throughout the county, we really wanted to focus on these 2 areas. The work plan included kind of creating a subcategory of those areas. And in our discussions with the stakeholders, one of the items that rose to the top, and Supervisor Arenas hosted a listening session where we were introducing the concept, and ultimately the conversation led to a land use discussion on the proposed rural zoning. And when you think about economic development, there needs to be a strong partnership with planning and development. The decisions that are made from a land use perspective can impact economic development. So I want to thank Jacqueline and Lisa and her staff for allowing us to join the community engagement and really, listening to both sides of the issue and offering our kind of recommendations and guidance on that front. We also are working on our branding, education, and awareness strategy, and hopefully in the coming months we'll establish an advisory council. Some of the work around the advisory council and one of the things that we have found in our early engagement is it is better to not be so regulatory focused when creating an advisory council. For instance, we spend a lot of time saying you need to have a certain number of representatives for each category, and that kind of closes the door to potential ideas. And so really leaving it open, creating the table, inviting those that are interested to come in. So that's kind of our recommendation at this time. One of the things that, and Glenn Williams, my colleague, is on the Zoom call, but one of the things that we have been doing is hosting a lot of meetings and one-on-one. A couple of Fridays ago, we visited with Visit Gilroy. We took a tour of Gilroy Gardens and really thinking about what are those anchors in South County that really need to be more out for public's awareness that they exist. In terms of some of the things that we have achieved, we are actively recruiting for our program manager too. As part of the recommendation earlier this year and part of the mid-year budget adjustment for fiscal year 25, we were allocated funding for a second position as a program manager too, who will focus on this body of work. We are in the final stages of that recruitment and hope to have somebody onboarded before the end of the calendar year. We also, a very exciting work, Supervisor Arenas, when we presented the fairgrounds item a couple of months ago or a couple of weeks ago to the Board of Supervisors, one of your comments was related to making sure that we don't lose the historical ties to agriculture at the fairgrounds. And we have been working with Casey Hill and her team on finding those connections between the food systems work and opportunities at the fairgrounds. And so there's a lot. We've had 2 meetings. We've asked the team to come together and put a proposal together as a way of activating the core grounds without affecting the master planning process that we have planned. Really just bringing the experts together to the table so that they can, they speak the language around food, distribution, processing, and making that as an anchor for community to come into the fairgrounds. So there's a lot of work happening there. We're also continuing to work with the UC Cooperative Extension on their branding campaign. They have hired a consultant. We are contributing $20,000. In addition to the position, county administration allocated $50,000 on an ongoing basis to support our work. And as I mentioned, we had a listening session with Supervisor Arenas, and we will be reporting back on the role of the advisory council and how to move that work forward. So we will continue on that front, and happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Vice Chair?
I do have questions, but I see Peggy looking at me for, I'm going to guess public comment.
Is that all right?
No, that was apparently a random stare, sorry. We have no speakers on the item.
We have no speakers. Okay. Yes.
Okay, I apologize. I want to read your looks. I'm not there yet.
Okay, so first of all, Consuelo, I just want to really thank you for all the really wonderful work that you've been doing. I know that this is stirring up particularly in South County, but it's not exclusive to South County, a real interest. But it also begged the question about, well, what is it that we can actually do, right? And we talked about, we can't really dream about the vision of the Office of Economic Development if we're constrained by the local ordinances or because they have some issues that they need to take care of on their land. And so part of the question I'm going to ask is also, what kind of flexibility or tools do we need to develop in the interim? And this is for our planning department as well, as you, Sylvia, to think about what can we do in the interim, because we're in November, at the end of November. The Super Bowl starts in February, and then March Madness, of course, is March. So we have a couple of months, right? And we got to turn this big Titanic ship around. I don't want to pressure the process for the agriculture. I'm sorry, for the rural zoning, thank you, ordinance, because it deserves the time and space that it needs. But we do need something in the middle so that folks who actually have these great locations out in South County, and Consuelo, you're starting to visit them and notice the beauty that we have out there, and of course everybody's invited, including you, Chair. That we need kind of a fix. So what can we do in the meantime? And we can take this offline because I know it's a part of a bigger question, but I want us to think about what is it that we can do in the interim, because there's code enforcement violations and things of that sort that keep people from doing what they need to do.
So let me just start by saying that the current zoning ordinance currently applies and won't be changed until it's updated. And so to the extent they're operating under the current rules, then there's no change. And certainly we can work with our partners to identify other things that we can do that are supportive. You have referred to us I'll call it a process outside of the rural zoning to address code enforcement issues, and certainly we'll be sensitive to those. And in fact, the director has some discretion to prioritize. As we always state, our focus is on life safety first.
Right.
And so we'll continue those practices. And if there's anything else we can do in the interim, we are absolutely open to hearing additional ideas.
No, thank you. And I know that there's already direction from a memo. Gosh, it was this week. It feels like last week, from earlier this week. And so I realized that it didn't connect back into the Office of Economic Development. And so I just wanted to make sure I brought those two things together because Consuelo, you're working really hard to making sure that this moves forward. I don't want you to slow down because of whatever, we need to fix or work on, what we need to work on in regards to the rural zoning ordinance. And so it would be wonderful just to have an offline conversation to get your thoughts about the direction that the board gave you earlier this week and see what can be done in the meantime within reason, right, and within your discretion as a director for some of those folks who, and I'm not saying those folks who have any safety issues. Obviously, we want to make sure that everyone's safe and everybody who's coming on site to their businesses are also safe. But anything that falls within reason, I just wanted to make sure I put that out there because we can't move forward with this, and this is coming right around the corner. When we started this conversation, it was earlier this year, and I don't know, you just blink of an eye, and we're at the end of it. So, anyways, thank you so much, and thank you, Consuelo, for ensuring that we continue to move forward with the Office of Economic Development. I really look forward to the advisory council. I think this is going to be a fun aspect of it. And I can't wait for, and I think maybe, you know, what we need to do is like take the board, take like a little agritourism tour. I know you have a lot of sites in your area too, so I think we can set up tours galore for the upcoming year.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
We could have our meetings.
Oh, that's a great idea. We could have off-site meetings. We haven't done that yet. Absolutely. We could have our committee meetings off-site too. Okay, well, I'm going to make a motion to approve before I end my comments. Thank you.
If I may, apologies, Supervisor Dennis and Abakoga for missing the big update for you. Through the course of our conversation, so we have been meeting with both the City of Gilroy and the City of Morgan Hill. And as you're both very familiar, there is a Bay Area Host Committee that's organizing events. And part of what Gilroy and Morgan Hill are doing is, you know, they're connected to that effort, but then they also have a local effort that they're looking at things that they can do on their own that may or may not tie into that. So I failed to mention that Visit Gilroy has a map. So they're creating a map with events, and that map of events with the details is going to be on the county's website. So kind of some low-hanging fruit. If you look at our current website, it literally has one sentence. The Office of Asset and Economic Development is a division of the County Executive's Office. So we are working with our administrative team to update our website. It will not be a full-blown branding, but we want to be able to drive traffic from any member of the public. You can put it in your newsletters. We saw a preview of the map from Visit Gilroy a few Fridays ago, and we're trying to figure out if we can help them make it interactive on our website. So if you look at the Office of Supportive Housing's Measure A map, where you go and you click and it gives you whether something's under construction and operation. You know, we're working with Visit Gilroy to see if we can make that happen on our website. So that isn't, it is not going to achieve the big dreams that we have, Supervisor Arenas, in our discussions, but it is a start. We also learned from Visit Gilroy that for FIFA, they are seeing a lot more capacity in their hotels where they're like getting at capacity.
Oh, yes.
Not so much for the Super Bowl, but how do you creatively think about a branding effort where, and I apologize, I don't mean this in any derogatory way, but kind of a budget alternative in South County rather than San Francisco. Where if you look at and you position Gilroy and Morgan Hill, its connection not to just to San Francisco, but to Santa Cruz, to Monterey. So like when you start making those connections to folks, the idea is how do you then spread the word locally? If somebody's staying at a hotel in Gilroy, how do you get them to stay there, spend their money? And that serve as their home base when they're visiting rather than San Francisco. Yes. So we are working on some of that. We are not creating the content. We are leveraging the content that's being created.
I love it. I love it. And, within, I think the last 3 weeks, I did connect with somebody from Team San Jose. And I think if we can take this offline, I would love to grow this conversation. There's a lot with what you're saying for folks who are coming from another country, are looking for affordable options. We are a very expensive Bay Area. And they probably can't, San Francisco can't compete with our prices, right? We have that over them. And so I think that's probably the advantage that we have. And aside from that, I think that there's an opportunity for us to use certain language so that when somebody is Googling, that we make sure that it always connects back. And I think there is an opportunity for us to maybe contribute somehow monetarily with Team San Jose so that we're also listed as an option for folks who are coming into San Jose because there's a limit in terms of hotels, and we would love for them to drive folks our way. And so I think there's still an opportunity for us to do some really good work with folks. People are going to land in San Jose if they're not landing in San Francisco directly, and we are a great option. We're a very simple airport, and I think people appreciate that, especially when they're coming from international spots, right? And I've seen that a little bit more often as I've traveled. I've seen how San Jose is selling themselves that way, and it's true. It's a very simple airport, nothing complicated about it, and I think that's, for a traveler, that means quite a bit, right? Especially when you're dealing with getting tickets, where you're going to stay, what are you going to do in the meantime? You're not going to be here just for the game. You're going to have an extended vacation, and how do you plan that out? And so I think it would be wonderful for us to maybe invest in the website that you're talking about. I love that one-liner. I think it's very very succinct. But I think that this is an opportunity for us to actually develop something that could bring folks in. Gilroy may not have Morgan Hill may be better resourced than Gilroy, but I know Gilroy may not have the money to spend on a website. And so I think that's something that, in lieu of that, we could invest in that and create a South County kind of trip, if you will, with options to all the wineries, to all the the on-site farm, very unique experiences that are out there that you've gotten to know. So anyways, I think this is fun to me. I think this is a really great opportunity for us to grow what Morgan Hill and Gilroy are already doing, and then finding links so that we can link to the host committee, and then of course Team San Jose, because people will land here. So thank you so much for that local effort and for ensuring that our South County is continuing to be involved in a very meaningful way.
Great. Yes, thank you for the update and for your work. And I wanted to mention that I've been discovering the locations in District 5, and we actually have quite a few wineries up in the Los Gatos Mountains and Almaden. And so I was hoping or wanted to ask if we, and maybe you're already doing this, but with our website and what you mentioned with working with Gilroy, but maybe expanding that to even our unincorporated areas, just the rest of the county that has these attractions. And I was talking to somebody about how there are so many wineries, and I get competitive, but we actually could be like an alternate destination, and especially proximity-wise, to Napa, and it's just really maybe a matter of helping to let the public know what's available, because some of these, I didn't even know what was happening in Los Gatos Mountains, and they're really quite beautiful and wonderful places to visit. So could we add, to the website, just like, this is Santa Clara County, these are the, great attractions that we have to offer here, and really help to, frankly, market the businesses that we have. And I agree with in regards to the upcoming events, really, being able to use those opportunities to just be better known for what we have here in Santa Clara County, and really promote the industries that we have. So, and then with it's a Bay Area Host Committee. I also came across someone who is with the Silicon Valley Chambers of Commerce, and they're trying to work with all of the cities to make sure that all of the cities get to benefit from these games that are coming. I have to do some follow-up with them, but I hope that we can, as a county, help to support the efforts that are happening, so we can really maximize on these big events that are showing up. So But thank you very much. I did have one question. I know there's always the challenge of, like, we want to support the wineries, the farms and so forth, and they're all, if we don't, help with their viability, there's always the threat of commercialization and commercial development, or even housing, production. And I was wondering if you've had some thoughts on how we can, what we can do, how we can help to uplift these small business, I'm going to call them small businesses, to prevent that kind of change happening or transition happening.
Thank you for the question, Supervisor Abakoga. I think this is where that partnership with Jacqueline and her team will be really critical. Just to give you an example, and actually the roads department as well, we're seeing a lot of, and I'm sure the planning department sees this every day, we are seeing the commercialization of a winery and a vineyard used in a way that can lead to safety hazards. So for instance, if we have a wine trail, we're in discussions to update our wine trail signage. And thanks to the roads department for sharing some of the data with us. When we look at the number of DUIs prior to the installation of the wine trails, and compare that to the last 10 years. So this all of the wine trail discussion, small business, originated in about 2013. There was a summit around small businesses in South County, and one of those recommendations was the wine trail. And so we have to balance how do you support a small business in a way that isn't creating a code enforcement issue, and in a way that's looking at public safety. And I think the more that we work together as departments and really get to know what it takes to survive as a small business in a safe way, I think those are some of the ideas that I'm hoping to work together with my colleagues next year.
Well, great, thank you. I appreciate you enlightening me on some of the issues that come up. So thank you for that. We did public comment, or have we done public comment on this?
I don't know if we formally did it, but we have no speakers on the item.
Okay, great, thank you. Is there, yes?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the cadence of the reports, if we could establish a quarterly, so I'm going to add that to the motion, as well as asking to complete an assessment of the existing efforts for each of the departments and the gaps that remain, so we can leverage all the existing resources and, of course, not be repetitive. So thank you.
Great. So we have a motion and a second. Could you please take roll call vote?
Vice Chairperson Arenas.
Yes.
Chairperson Abakoga.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that report. Let's see, 9 went on to consent, so we go to 10, and we're taking 11 together. And so this is to receive a verbal report on the agricultural worker housing initiative, and then 11 was to receive a report from SEPA relating to ongoing agricultural worker housing needs survey results. So we'll start with Ms. Gallegos.
Good morning, Sylvia Gallegos, Deputy County Executive. Each month, we provide an oral report on the status of our work to promote ag worker housing. A couple of Hewlett meetings ago, we indicated we wanted to bring forward for a more robust presentation on the ongoing ag worker survey work that's been spearheaded by the Consumer and Environmental Protection Agency. And so with that, I'd like to turn over the presentation to our director, Edgar Nolasco. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Abakoga, Vice Chair Arenas, Edgar Nolasco, your agency director for SEPA. I have the pleasure to introduce item 11. It is to share our accomplishments, our efforts that we've done to support the ag worker survey. Here to present the item with me is our Ag Commissioner, Priscilla Yini, and we have a small presentation to share with all of you.
Welcome.
Good morning, Chair Supervisor Abby Koga and Vice Chair Sylvia Arenas. I'm happy today to share our farm worker survey results with you. In fiscal year 2024-25, the SEPA Agricultural Division conducted an agricultural worker survey to assess housing needs and support services for permanent agricultural workers. The survey was conducted at 3 translated community events to reach out to Spanish and Chinese speakers. We also coupled these events with resource fairs to help engage farm workers in survey processes. Resources at the events were provided by Supervisor Arenas' office, Behavioral Health, Social Service Agency, the Office of Supportive Housing, the Office of Migrant Education, the U.S. Department of Labor, Clara, Community Agency for Resource and Advocacy Services, and United Farm Workers. In addition to these 3 community events, the Division of Agriculture reached out to the United Farm Workers, community-based organizations, the top 10 agricultural worker employers, and the Farm Bureau for assistance in connecting with all of the local farm workers. Next slide, please. It is estimated that there are 2,908 farm workers in Santa Clara County. Of those, 439 farm workers responded to the survey, which is 15% of the 2,908. Those who took and submitted responses, or took the survey and submitted responses, were residents of Gilroy, Morgan Hill, San Martin, and San Jose. Most of the workers lived in Gilroy, and 91% of the respondents were Spanish speakers. Next slide, please. All of those that responded to the survey were permanent workers. 81% of them identified themselves as non-seasonal workers. When asked about their current housing status, 39% reported that they lived in single-family housing. That is one family residing in one home at one time. 24% reported that they lived in a home with multiple families, and 15% of the respondents stated that they lived in shared dormitory-styled living conditions or living spaces. 73% of the respondents stated that they preferred to live in single-family housing. Next slide, please. To better understand the needs of farm workers, part of the survey listed several resources with the ability for the respondents to select multiple resources and an option for them to write the resources in that were not listed on the survey. The top 3 resources that were selected were assistance with educational services, information on Medi-Cal, and help with applying for financial assistance. Next slide, please. Moving forward, my plans are to continue to collect feedback from agricultural workers, to foster stronger relationships with agricultural employers in the county, to increase the agricultural division's presence in South County among the agricultural community, to build a stronger connection with our local Farm Bureau, and to support county agricultural initiatives for agricultural workers and agricultural industries. This concludes our presentation, and we're open to take any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Vice Chair?
It would be rare if I didn't have questions. Yes, I do. Thank you so much for the presentation. I wanted to know, what is the standard for responses from surveys? I think you said it was 2,100?
Oh, 2,908. That's the
2,900.
2,908 agricultural workers in the county, but 439 responded out of that, which
Yeah,
is 15%.
I heard you say it was 15%, right? I wasn't doing the math. I was letting it all on you. So is that 15%, is that valid in terms of surveys? Does that meet the minimum of what that would be reflective of the population?
Great questions, Vice Chair Adenas. So we have gotten 15%. This is a point in time. So reflectively, this are the results that we have so far. We're going to continue doing efforts to increase that. So part of that is Priscilla coming to our county. She has a great background in advocacy and support from our county executive office is continuing to increase those numbers. Right now it's the off season, so some workers aren't working,
Right.
but it is our plan to continue getting more engagement and results to bring that percentage higher so we can see some trends from what the respondents are answering to some of our questions.
Yeah, interesting. I just wanted to know if there was a minimum. I know statistically there needs to be a minimum, and I've forgotten what that minimum is. And so I don't know if you have a percentage that you were thinking about so that we can say that this is truly reflective of the population. And or we could also be targeting different seasons, right? Like you just finished saying, obviously right now the season ended, and a lot of them were permanent, right? So they weren't migrant farm workers, and so I think maybe, I don't know if we're missing the migrant farm workers, we wait for them to return, right, to get their perspectives. Is that part of the strategy?
So let me expand upon the director's comments. The response thus far does not reflect, it's not a representative sample, and so you can't draw conclusions that then you could extend to the broader population. And as the director indicated, we're continuing, we want to get to everybody at some point. And so we're continuing these efforts to survey. And it's hard. The director didn't discuss the challenges that we have encountered thus far, including, so just one example, and I would offer the director to speak to it, but we were trying to work with farm labor contractors to speak to your concern about seasonal labor, and we weren't getting responses. Like repeatedly we would reach out. And so I think in this sense, we may turn to you and perhaps you can help us get that cooperation, because we've made repeated overtures but haven't been successful.
Oh, and so it was just lack of response, not, I don't have time for this, or?
Let me turn to the director to expand on my comments.
So just to add commentary to that, we've done multiple attempts and different efforts through different methods to different entities. So some of our targets were our H-2A workers through FLCs. Some of them were mainly targeting our top 10 employers through different mechanisms, but at times there was no responses for different reasons. Just to give you an example of the difficulty of getting respondents, we employed different methods like doing SurveyMonkey. Come to find out that some employees aren't allowed to carry their phones on the premises, they're leaving in the locker. So we switched to paper applications. We sent the ag team out there at different times to make sure that we got the morning shift and the evening shift. We're doing everything we can, partnering with Clara, UFW, LULAC, even council members in Gilroy and Morgan Hill, in order to ensure that everybody knows what we're doing and support that we want to get their input.
That's wonderful. No, I'm sure that you had, I was very impressed with the 439. Let me tell you, I was, wow. Very impressive. So thank you so much for the mixed outreach efforts that took. I'm sure that there's a lot more stories to be told behind the 439, but I'm really grateful for that feedback. And I'm so glad that people were feeling so comfortable enough. I'm sure it speaks to your approach and your interaction with them to be able to share with us, right? Because not everybody is doing that, and certainly under this presidential administration, it hasn't created the kind of environment for folks to share, right? And so I'm really grateful that people in our, especially agricultural workers in our county, are still feeling safe enough to speak with you. and to share about their housing, because that's pretty intimate, right? To share the conditions and the kind of living spaces, and so that's a very intimate kind of conversation. I don't know that I would answer if somebody asked me, what are your living conditions, right? Who's asking, what for, right? And how are they going to benefit from that? And so I guess that for me, that's the following questions about what more did you learn aside from those pieces? But before I move into that question, let me just close up by saying that I think that there's an opportunity for us to connect with maybe the Farm Bureau and the Farm Bureaus, or the mayor of Morgan Hill also is a longstanding and a multi-generation Gilroyan, and he has very great relationships with the farmers. We have good relationship with the farmers as well in the Farm Bureau, and I think that maybe going through that portal might be legitimizing your efforts in a way that breathes confidence into some of the contractors that may not be in the know of who's our partners and partners that we can trust, right? So we can talk about that offline.
Just really quick, Vice Chair, as part of the efforts of putting this together, we involved different stakeholders, ongoing conversations with the Farm Bureau. So,
perfect.
And this has been, 2 years, more or less. Going back to early 2024, we engaged the Farm Bureau. I myself went personally to discuss what we're doing, show the presentation, the survey, get feedback from different sort of SMEs. And we had then other meetings just for farmers to come in and say, this is what we're doing, this is how you can support us, what it really means and adds value to your employees, which is your number one asset for most of these companies, and they're all in support. So I appreciate the commentary. Anything that can help really drive this, it would be really appreciated.
Perfect. And I know that you've been invested from the beginning. So I know, Edgar, we took that tour from the very beginning. I know you've been continuing to work on this, and
I
so I
just
appreciate
want to share
it.
personally, this is something very close to me. My dad is an ag worker.
Oh.
I would be 30 years ago part of this survey. I was, as part of one of the questions is, what is your living condition? I was living in a garage. My dad's an ag worker, so I'm very deeply committed to doing this and ensuring that those voices get heard and are reflective as part of the survey.
No, I appreciate it, and thank you for sharing that. I know that many of us have those kinds of roots that allowed us to be where we are, right? Because we appreciate a very humble beginnings and upbringing, and that creates a kind of character that allows for us to serve our community in a very significant way. So thank you so much for offering that, and also for your commitment to our community and for this particular population. And so never any doubts, just trying to offer options to see how we can increase that participation. But like I said, already impressed with what you've done. And we were going in a different direction before I interrupted my own self to say, is there something else that you've learned that you might have not reflected in the surveys, but that gave you an insight to what the ag workers were talking about? Maybe just even trust in locally that they could continue to live there and not be in fear? Did you find that most of them had legal residency and weren't worried as much as we think they are? Or, I mean, just any attributes that you could help?
So I'll answer your questions, Vice Chair Arenas. Regarding the immigration status, we, as part of creating the survey, we reached out to UFW. They are the experts in this area. They advise us not to ask those type of questions.
No, I don't mean that you asked them, but I wonder if there was any commentary during some of the surveys.
We tried not to touch that area, but to go back to your initial question, what was the results showing? If we can go to slide 5, please. which is a question that we asked to our ag workers: what desired resources are they most, which ones were they most likely to encounter or want? To me, seeing the results this point in time, the help with education services, I think that for me was something that I learned, that I didn't think that was going to be as high as part of this question. It was a multiple choice question. They were allowed to pick different resources, and it validates some of the items that we put together as resources to this group on those 3 resource events that your office was helpful in partnering with us. One of the partnerships that we created, knowing that from my background and also my colleague Adriana, was partnering with the County Office of Ed with migrant education to ensure that parents know what services are available for them. Creating, all of these resources that we asked, we ensured that we had trusted partners at these resource fairs to ensure that they were able to then share what services are available to our ag workers in the community.
Wonderful. So there was was there a subsequent fair that they could attend after, maybe a major portion of the feedback that you received?
So we did those 3 resource events, and we haven't done anything yet, but we can consider doing one next year, if that is a direction.
That would be wonderful, and I'm happy to support it, and my office support it, and figure out how other partners in our community can be supportive, especially the school districts, because those parents probably have children, right, going to those school districts, and that's probably one of the best and safest ways to get resources and information, and I'm sure that they have quite a bit. But just to, and I will share this also with our school district and with our partners out in the community, because I think they can get what they need out of this information, right, as they see fit. But I'm sure that they're dealing with, on an ongoing basis, with all of these issues, and folks are coming to whatever it is that they need, if it lines up with their schedule. So once again, just thank you for the information. I'm so glad that you connected with UFW to build and breathe confidence into the efforts, because that is an entity that is known and that is trusted among agricultural workers and those who are advocates as well. And so I'm just really happy that to see the kind of involvement. And so anything that we can do to help support with any of the themes or the concerns that kept coming up, I would love to be part of that. And so we can talk about that offline and see what kind of events we can offer. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the work.
Thank you.
Supervisor Abekoga, if I may,
Yes, please.
again, Consuelo Hernandez, Deputy County Executive, Supervisor Arenas, maybe to offer you a little bit of anecdotal information. When the SEPA team was hosting those community engagement sessions, I was still the director of the Office of Supportive Housing, joined the team in all of those sessions. I would say the most attended was the one that we hosted in Gilroy with Garas, and the Office of Supportive Housing had a table with the property. If you recall, we were leasing up our Royal Oak Village development in Morgan Hill that's targeted for ag workers. So we actually had the property manager there taking applications and answering questions. And one of the, in talking to the families, probably the missing link from a service perspective is the legal services around immigration. And now that we have a new person in our Office of Immigrant Relations, I think it would be good to pull them in as a service. A lot of the questions that we also, a lot of the feedback that we heard, people don't think that they qualify for affordable housing because of their immigration status. And so we did this presentation around myths and facts. Your legal status is not a question that is asked if you're applying for an affordable housing unit. And so there are some threads in there that you're not seeing in the survey outcomes that I think KJ and her team can offer. In some of the work that they're doing. The Supervisor Ennis, as you know, we have the 8th and Alexander development in Gilroy. The housing authority is working to like bridge those gaps. So there is a ton there that, and I think from an economic development perspective, we want to make sure our businesses, whether small or large, that their workforce is able to be housed in our community. And so there's just a tremendous amount of linkages there, again, between all of our departments and how we support the ag community from a employment perspective for business and for housing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And let's figure out how we can continue to blend all of these wonderful efforts together, because they're the same population, right? And we want to make sure we are not overwhelming them, but we are being responsive, especially when we ask the kinds of questions that we're asking and we're interfacing with folks. I want to make sure that they don't feel that we've just gotten what we need from them and then walked away, right? So that it's something that is full circle. And so thank you for that information, and let's figure out what we can do to kind of tie the circle back and complete it. Thank you.
Great.
Oh, and then I'll make a motion to move the item forward.
Great. And this would be item 10 and 11. Is that right? I'll second that motion, and just also want to add my thanks to the incredible work. It's really quite extensive. I actually thought the 15% response rate is pretty good. Normally it's like 5 to 10 initially, and I appreciate that you're going to continue to get more responses. I did have a question regarding that. So is this not a anonymous survey? I'm just wondering how you track.
It is, Chair Abico, to answer your question, it is anonymous.
Oh, it is, okay.
And we made that a point that we're not taking any information from respondents, either through paper or SurveyMonkey. We've been a lot more successful with doing paper applications, and we have our paper surveys translated into 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Chinese.
So then how do you track who's responded?
So we have different surveys for different groups.
Okay.
So we also, as part of this, it's 6 questions that we designed to ensure that we're getting the right responses from our ag workers.
Okay.
And that's how we track the responses.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you. In regards to the desired resources, the financial assistance, interest in financial assistance, you separated out from Medi-Cal. So is that what we're talking about in terms of like housing assistance or food, nutrition?
Correct.
Okay.
So that was one of the questions as part of question 6.
Yes.
And just to go back, our 3 resource events that we had team members from SSA to provide information on how to apply for some of these benefits.
Great, yes.
It was a lot of resources there for community members to understand what is available to them. Sort of going back what Deputy County Executive Hernandez said is, there's these myths that they may not apply for this, they don't qualify for this.
Right, yes.
So a lot of them were, I didn't know this is great. So it was a really good event.
Great. As well as like with the behavioral health services that we can offer.
They were there as well.
Yeah, oh, good. And then work-related problems, is that like mediation services that we would refer folks to? I'm just trying to think of like what kind of resources we
So
could.
part of the efforts that we did at the resource event is we reached out to the U.S. Department of Labor.
Oh, okay.
And they did a presentation on what are your rights within the U.S. Department of Labor. So understanding what that is, it was a great presentation, a lot of debunking myths that if you're of a certain immigration status, you're not protected. So that it was a great understanding to them.
That's great. And then childcare, there's like many options that we can refer folks to. Well, good. Thank you again for all the great work. I think, yes, following up with the resource fairs is a great way to address or respond to the interests, and I look forward to continuing to hear the great progress you're making. So is there any public comment on this item?
We have no speakers.
All right, thank you. With that, if there isn't anything else, please, we have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Arenas?
Yes.
Chairperson Abikoga?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We will go on to the reports from the departments. We weren't sure if we were going to have time, but we do. So let's go down the list, and let's start with the Director of Department for Planning and Development. Do you have anything to report out?
I have no report at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to Roads and Airports.
No report this morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Parks and Recreation.
Thanks to our chair for highlighting Fantasy Lights, so no report. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I think we have a walkthrough that we're doing. Looking forward to it. And we'll go to SEPA again.
No reporting actions, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then Director of Office of Supportive Housing.
Good morning. Just a brief report. I wanted to note that the Public Health Department completed the housing brief for the related to Latino health assessment. It's been posted on the Public Health's website, and we, OSH, also hosted a Continuum of Care membership meeting that includes multiple stakeholders, nonprofit organizations, our city partners, and public health provided that brief to our community. And we've also distributed it across all of our partners who are part of the community planning process. And then just also wanted to note a couple of upcoming events in case they're not on your radar. I won't go through all the details, but we have, we just completed the groundbreaking for Algarve and Arcade and Salvation Army since the last meeting. But we also have upcoming Santa Teresa in December, Tamian Station, Acacia, which is the educator housing. Those are both coming in early 2026. And note that Magnolias, which has ag worker housing units, is also coming up in the coming weeks. So we'll share those event information offline, but looking forward to hopefully partnering on some of those that are in your districts.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions, Vice Chair?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. That concludes that item, and
To the chair, just a quick
Yes.
note, no speakers on this item.
oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. No public comment on any of these parts. Thank you. So that brings us to adjournment, and I wanted to say that we are adjourning this meeting today with bittersweet feelings, as we understand this is our clerk Peggy Doyle's final Hewlett meeting. And so, Peggy, I just wanted to say thank you for your 6 years of tremendous work in partnership with the Hewlett Committee, as well as your work with the Planning Commission, Airports, Land Use Commission, and many other boards and commissions that you have supported during your tenure at the county. Just really appreciate your demeanor, your positivity, and your care. And I know you've made all of us better. So I just want to, again, thank you on behalf of this committee, as well as the other groups that I'm a part of. And we wish you all the best in your retirement. Would you like to say a few words?
Ooh, Chair, before Peggy says all her words,
Yes.
I want to say some words
Yes,
about
please.
About her. This comes as a real surprise, Peggy. I was really appreciating. I've always appreciated your wonderful and positive and very caring disposition, not only just for us as electeds and for those who sit up on the dais with us, but for our residents and taking care of making sure that their voices are heard. I'm so sad that you are leaving, but I'm happy for you because that means that you get to enjoy this next segment of your life and career. I don't know what you're going to do next, but I wish you the best. And thank you so much for the public service that you made this commitment, which is very different in terms of careers, and sometimes it's thankless. And so thank you. Thank you so much for all your service.
You're very welcome. It's been my pleasure and privilege to serve here. Santa Clara County is amazing. I will miss everybody until I retire, and then I'm going to travel and not miss everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again for your incredible service, and I'd like to adjourn this meeting in honor of Peggy Doyle. Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.